Have you ever sat in absolute silence and felt that the silence was not empty, but heavy? Heavy with information, heavy with a presence you couldn't see, but could undeniably feel? Imagine, for a moment, a man sitting in a wheelchair. His body is collapsed, a prisoner of gravity and biology. His muscles do not obey him. His voice is a synthesized echo generated by a computer. And yet, inside that fragile shell, there's a universe burning brighter than a supernova. He is traveling through black holes, rewinding time to the Big Bang, surfing the event horizon of infinity. Stephen Hawking was not just a physicist. He was a listener. He spent his life decoding the whispers of the cosmos. He looked at the chaos of a night sky and saw an elegant, mathematical order. He saw a message. We often look at men of science as purely logical machines, cold, detached. But Hawking's life tells a different story. A story of intuition, of defying the odds, of reading the subtle signs that reality places in our path. He knew something we often forget in the rush of modern life. The universe is always speaking to us. It speaks in patterns, in coincidences, in the sudden urge to turn left instead of right. It speaks through the symbols in your dreams and the animals that cross your path. You are here, right now, listening to this because you have felt it too. That subtle nudge, that quiet feeling that there is more to your life than paying bills and growing old. Today, we're going to explore the 7 universal messages you must stop ignoring. We will use the extraordinary life of Stephen Hawking not as a biography, but as a map to navigate the hidden currents of your own destiny. Take a deep breath, clear your mind. The signal is there. Are you ready to receive it? Let us begin with the architecture of time. Stephen Hawking was born on January 8, 1942. To the casual observer, just a date in the middle of a chaotic century. But to those who look for patterns, it is a marker. It was the 300th anniversary of the death of Galileo Galilei, the father of modern science. Fast forward 76 years. Stephen Hawking takes his final breath on March 14, 2018. Another date on the calendar? Perhaps. But March 14th is also the birthday of Albert Einstein. Born on the death day of the man who opened our eyes to the heavens. Died on the birthday of the man who revealed the fabric of space-time. A perfect loop. A cosmic rhyme. Now, a skeptic might say this is mere chance, a statistical anomaly in a chaotic world. But Hawking himself saw the universe as a grand design. Not necessarily religious, but deeply orderly. He spent his life searching for the theory of everything. A single unifying equation that would explain how the erratic quantum world dances with the majestic gravity of stars. He believed that everything is connected. If the universe is a web of connection, then what are synchronicities? You have experienced them. You think of an old friend you haven't seen in a decade, and 10 minutes later, they call you. You wrestle with a difficult decision, silently asking the sky for a sign. And a song comes on the radio with lyrics that answer your question. You see the same name, the same phrase, the same image, repeated 3 times in a single day. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, an acausal connecting principle. It is when the inner world of your thoughts meets the outer world of reality in a way that defies probability. For Hawking, the synchronization of his life with Galileo and Einstein wasn't magic, it was resonance. It was as if the universe was tagging him, marking him as part of a lineage, a thread in the great tapestry of human curiosity. So I ask you, what threads are appearing in your life right now? We often ignore these moments. We brush them off as weird coincidences. We smile, shrug, and move on. But what if you stopped? What if you treated these synchronicities as clues in a scavenger hunt, designed specifically for you? When a coincidence strikes you with that spark of electricity, it is a universe message, a signal that you're on the right frequency, a quiet nod from the cosmos saying, pay attention, this matters. Perhaps you keep hearing about a specific city. Maybe a job opportunity keeps popping up in unexpected places. Maybe a book falls off a shelf in front of you. These are not accidents. They are the universe's way of bypassing your logical, fearful mind to speak directly to your spirit. Hawking's life was bracketed by the giants of physics, and he lived up to that lineage. He stepped into the role the timeline suggested for him. When your timeline aligns, when the external world mirrors your internal state, do not look away. Pause. Acknowledge it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? Synchronicities are breadcrumbs leading you toward your highest potential. To ignore them is to walk past an open door and stay in the hallway. The universe does not shout. It hints. And the more you notice the hints, the more often they appear. Imagine you are 21 years old. You are brilliant, full of life, falling in love, studying at Oxford. The world is at your feet. And then you fall. You trip. Your hands stop working. You go to a doctor, and he delivers a sentence worse than prison, ALS. Your body is going to shut down, muscle by muscle, until you suffocate. You have 2 years to live. This was Stephen Hawking's reality in 1963. The logical thing to do, the sensible thing, would have been to retreat, to drop out of his PhD program, go home, lie in bed, and wait for the end. Why start a thesis on the origins of the universe if you won't live to finish it? But Hawking felt something else. Beneath the crushing weight of the diagnosis, beneath the natural depression that followed, there was a nudge, a quiet, stubborn pulse. He later said that before the diagnosis, he was bored with life. But facing death gave him a sudden, intuitive clarity. He realized that if he had time, he wanted to use it to understand why we are here. He didn't know he would live another 55 years. He only knew that the nudge told him to work now. He followed that intuition into the study of black holes, a subject that was at the time obscure, fringe, theoretical. That intuition led him to become the most recognizable scientist of our era. This is the second message, the intuitive nudge. It is rarely a booming voice. It is usually a whisper. It is that feeling in your stomach when you walk into a room and know you shouldn't be there. It is the sudden spark of excitement about a hobby you've never tried before. It is the inexplicable urge to call your mother, only to discover she needed you at that exact moment. In our modern world, we are trained to suppress this. We are taught to look at spreadsheets, pros and cons lists, and realistic expectations. If Hawking had been realistic, he would have prepared for death. Instead, he prepared for immortality. Have you ever felt a pull towards something that made no logical sense? A career change that looks risky on paper, but feels right in your bones? A relationship that looks perfect to everyone else, but leaves you cold and empty inside? That dissonance is a message. Intuition is the navigation system of your soul. It operates on data your conscious mind cannot yet perceive. Hawking's intuition drove him to focus on his mind because he sensed on some level that his body would fail him, but his mind would be his starship. He leaned into his strength precisely when his weakness was revealed. Listen to the nudges you are receiving today. Maybe it's a nudge to leave a toxic environment. Maybe it's a nudge to pick up a paintbrush. Maybe it's a nudge to forgive someone. It is terrifying to trust a feeling over a fact, but facts are often just records of the past. Intuition is a memory of the future. If you're feeling stuck, stop thinking your way out of it. You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Instead, feel your way out. Where's the flow? Where is the excitement? Where is the quiet yes inside the noise of the world's no? Hawking ignored the doctor's timeline and followed his own internal clock. You have that same clock ticking inside you. It does not care about your age, your bank account, or your past failures. It cares only about one thing, where you need to go next. When we speak of science, we rarely speak of totems. Yet the human psyche speaks in symbols, and animals are the oldest symbols we have. They represent archetypal energies, forces of nature that live within us. Stephen Hawking never claimed a spirit animal in a shamanic sense. But look at his life. Look at the energy he embodied. He sat in silence, observing the dark. He saw into the blackest depths of the universe, where light itself cannot escape. He carried a wisdom that felt as though it came from beyond the veil. In the symbolic language of the ancients, this is the energy of the owl. The owl sits still while the world scurries. It sees through the darkness. It represents the power to see what others miss, the wisdom that rises from silence and deep observation. Or consider the raven or the crow. In mythology, these birds are messengers between worlds. They're tricksters, intelligent, playful, bold. They fly high above the earth to see the bigger picture. Hawking, with his mischievous wit, running over the toes of people he didn't like with his wheelchair, cracking jokes about the cosmos, embodied that sharp, soaring, corvid intelligence. Why does this matter to you? Because the universe often sends messages through the natural world. Have you noticed a particular animal appearing in your life again and again? Maybe you keep seeing spiders weaving webs. The spider is the weaver of destiny, asking you to examine the patterns you're creating. Are you trapped in your own web, or are you the architect of it? Maybe you see a hawk circling overhead whenever you're wrestling with a big decision. The hawk is higher perspective, a call to detach from the noise and see the long view. Maybe it's something humble like an ant, reminding you of community, patience, and persistent, tiny steps. When an animal crosses your path, whether in physical reality, in a recurring dream, or even through images online, it is often a mirror. It is the universe asking you to embody a specific quality. If you see the owl, you're being asked to observe more and speak less. If you see the bear, you may need rest, hibernation, and healing. If you see the butterfly, you are in a cycle of profound transformation where the old self must dissolve for the new one to fly. Hawking was forced into the stillness of the owl. He could not run like a wolf or fight like a lion. He had to rely on the power of mind flight. He accepted the energy available to him, and he mastered it. So ask yourself, what energy is available to you right now? Stop forcing yourself to be the lion if your soul is asking you to be the turtle. Slow, steady, protected, ancient. Stop trying to be the busy bee if your spirit is crying out for the solitary eagle. The next time you encounter an animal, pause. Don't just look at it. Look into it. What quality does it hold that you currently lack? That creature is a messenger, a totem, sent to awaken a dormant part of your own nature. We live in a matrix of numbers. Stephen Hawking saw the universe as a grand equation, a vast, elegant structure written in the language of mathematics. His greatest discovery, the formula for Hawking radiation, fuses together the speed of light, Newton's gravitational constant, Planck's constant, and the Boltzmann constant, a handful of symbols describing how black holes slowly evaporate into nothingness. For a physicist, a repeating number is a constant, a pillar of reality. If the gravitational constant shifted even slightly, stars would never ignite. You would not be here. Numbers aren't just symbols. They're the scaffolding of existence. But for us, in our everyday lives, numbers often appear with a different purpose. They behave like messages. How many times have you glanced at your phone and seen 1111, or 2222, or your birth date staring back at you from a receipt, a clock, a license plate? Skeptics call this confirmation bias. You see it because you're looking for it, they say. But even if that is true, pause and ask yourself, why are you looking for it? And why does it strike you with that strange sense of meaning when it happens? Repeating patterns are the universe's rhythm. Just as music depends on a beat, your life unfolds in cycles of energy. When you see 1111, many traditions consider it a portal, a moment of perfect alignment. Two pillars, a gateway, a thinning of the veil between your conscious mind and your higher self. Think of it as the universe sending you a notification, a soft ping from a matrix. 333 is the triad, mind, body, spirit, a reminder to return to balance. 555 carries the vibration of disruption, the winds of change rising, not a threat, but an invitation to evolve. Hawking spent his life searching for the God equation, the set of numbers that explains everything. He believed that beneath the apparent randomness lies an elegant order. Your life is no different. You are not a coincidence. You are a sequence, a pattern unfolding through time. So when you see repeating numbers, treat them as a stop sign for the mind. When the clock hits 11:11, stop, breathe, ask yourself, what was my mind doing at this exact moment? Were you worrying? The universe may be saying, notice this fear. Is it real? Were you imagining a new future? The universe whispers, yes, keep going. Do not chase the numbers. Do not hunt for signs. Let them appear naturally, the way stars appear when the sky is ready. When they arrive, unforced, unexpected, acknowledge them. They are reminders that you are part of a structured, intelligent design, a variable in a cosmic equation, a necessary piece of the symmetry. Just like the constants in physics, you hold a place in the universe that cannot be replaced. Now we shift from the waking world into the shadow world, the realm of dreams. As Stephen Hawking's paralysis advanced, he lost the ability to write equations. He lost the ability to turn the pages of a book. His body became silent, still uncooperative. So he retreated into the only space that remained infinite, his mind. Inside that mental universe, he began to see geometry. He could rotate impossible shapes, bend space-time, merge black holes, all within a private theater that no physical limitation could ever touch. Colleagues described how he solved problems not with pen and paper, but with pure visualization, a waking dream that allowed him to explore realities computers hadn't yet learned to calculate. And this brings us to the fifth message. The symbols in your dreams. Every night, you enter a laboratory. Your body shuts down, almost like Hawking's did, but your consciousness becomes limitless. In this state, your subconscious processes the data of your life. But it doesn't speak in English or Portuguese or Spanish. It speaks in symbols. A house, a tidal wave, losing your teeth, flying, being chased. We wake up and shrug it off. That was weird. And just like that, we throw away unencrypted files from the deepest part of ourselves. If Hawking could use mental imagery to understand the structure of the cosmos, you can use dream imagery to understand the structure of your own inner universe. A house in a dream is you. Is it collapsing? You may be neglecting your health, physical, mental, or emotional. Did you find a hidden room? You are uncovering a new potential you didn't know you had. Water is emotion. Is it a still lake? Peace. A raging ocean? Something within you is overflowing, usually something you repress while awake. Hawking proved that the mind is not limited by the confines of the body. He proved that imagination is a legitimate tool of discovery. And your dreams are not noise, not randomness, not junk data. They are simulations. They are warnings. They are revelations. They're your inner universe running diagnostics. Have you had a recurring dream? That is not an accident. That is a message repeating itself until you are ready to hear it. Tonight, before you sleep, ask for guidance. Just whisper, I want to understand. When you wake up, don't reach for your phone. Reach for the memory, whatever fragment remains. What was the feeling? Panic, peace, longing, escape? The universe speaks most clearly when your guard is down. And our guard is never lower than when we are asleep. Honor your dreams. They're the nightly briefing from your soul. We now arrive at the most controversial and the most powerful message of all, the gut feeling. Science teaches us to trust data, evidence, peer review. But here is the hidden truth behind nearly every breakthrough. And Hawking understood this intimately. The feeling comes before the proof. In the 1970s, the consensus was absolute. Black holes were perfect prisons. Nothing escaped them, not matter, not information, not even light. They were eternal, silent, devouring. But Hawking had an irritation, a subtle internal discord, a tension between quantum mechanics and general relativity. Something didn't add up. His intuition whispered that black holes weren't truly black. They had to glow. They had to leak. They had to radiate. This idea defied everything physicists believed. but he trusted that intellectual gut feeling enough to sit with it, explore it, and do the math others were too afraid to even consider. And he was right. Hawking radiation was born from a hunch, a whisper of truth before the evidence materialized. That intuition changed physics forever. You have this same instrument inside you. We call it a gut feeling, but biologically, it is the enteric nervous system, millions of neurons lining your digestive tract, your second brain. And evolutionarily, it is older, faster, and more truthful than your conscious mind. Think of how many times you've met someone who smiled, acted friendly, yet something inside you tightened. Later, you discovered your discomfort had been a warning. Or how many times your body said no while your mouth said yes, and you regretted it for months. That inner no was the universe protecting you. Hawking's intuition dealt with the thermodynamics of event horizons. Yours deals with the thermodynamics of your life. It tells you what drains your energy and what fuels it. The message boils down to something incredibly simple, profoundly transformative. The body knows before the mind. The mind is easily seduced. The mind can justify anything. The mind says, take the job. The salary is good. The gut whispers, misery, don't. The mind says, he seems kind. The gut says, run. We live in a culture that worships logic and suppresses intuition. We are raised to be polite rather than honest, rational rather than perceptive. But if you want to navigate the universe correctly, you must learn to trust the vibration of your own inner field. If something feels heavy, contracted, or dark in your solar plexus, it is a no, no matter how beautiful it looks on paper. If something feels light, expansive, electric, even if it terrifies you, it is usually a yes. Hawking dared to suggest that black holes dissolve. He risked his reputation on a feeling. Now ask yourself, what are you afraid to risk? What truth is your gut shouting that you keep drowning out with logic? Stop debating with your intuition. Stop negotiating with warnings. Stop asking for permission to trust yourself. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to convince anyone. You just need to follow it. And when you finally understand that the guide is within you, something extraordinary happens. The world stops feeling random. You begin to notice that life is not a chaotic storm you must survive, but a river you are meant to navigate. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what is this trying to teach me? This shift, this subtle turning of the inner compass, is what transforms suffering into wisdom, mistakes into milestones, and uncertainty into invitation. Hawking lived in a body that betrayed him, yet he expanded the boundaries of human knowledge. You live in a body that can walk, breathe, and choose. Imagine what you could accomplish if you treated your challenges the way he treated his, as instructions, not punishments. Because here is the truth the universe whispers, softly but persistently. Every difficulty carries encoded guidance. Every delay is a recalibration. Every loss clears space for alignment. Every silence is a message waiting for your awareness to grow quiet enough to hear it. And when you start living this way, not resisting life, but decoding it, you step into a different kind of existence. You become less reactive, more intentional, more awake. You begin to feel the architecture beneath your experiences, the invisible scaffolding of meaning holding your days together. The coincidences no longer feel accidental. The dreams no longer feel random. The numbers no longer feel like illusions of pattern seeking. They feel like what they are, breadcrumbs on your path. And with each breadcrumb you follow, you grow more aligned with the life that was always meant to be yours. Hawking looked up at the stars and saw equations, but he also saw possibility, wonder, and reason to keep going. He saw the unbreakable marriage between mystery and meaning. So look up, not because the answers are written in the sky, but because the sky reminds you that you are capable of more than you believe. Your story is bigger than your struggle. Your purpose is older than your fear. Your potential is wider than your limitations. And when you finally listen, when you truly listen, You will realize that the messages of the universe were never coming from somewhere out there. They were echoes, reflections, amplifications of what already lived inside you. You are both the question and the answer, both the seeker and the guide, both the stardust and the spark. So walk forward with courage. Carry these messages gently but deliberately. And remember, the universe is not testing you. It is teaching you how to remember who you really are. What message did you receive today? What pattern have you been ignoring? Pause, feel it. Let it settle inside you. The universe is always speaking, always nudging, always offering a path forward. Sometimes it whispers through coincidences, sometimes through dreams, sometimes through a tightening in your gut. Take it with you. Hold it close, not as a burden, but as a compass, a signal, a reminder. This conversation is not over. It has only just begun. Every step you take, every choice you make, every breath you draw can be aligned with the messages waiting for you. Listen for the signals. Notice the synchronicities. Trust the nudges. And most importantly, walk forward knowing that the guide you've been searching for is already inside you. Now, go and see what patterns your life is trying to reveal.